You're listening to the Not Safe for Work History Podcast.
Does that turn you on?
History for the depraved.
Hey, this is Joe, and that's Jason. This is the Not Safe for Work History Podcast, Episode 4, The Necessities Part 2, Toilet... No, fuck.
You almost had it, man.
Before toilet paper.
Before toilet paper. Something that we left out of the last episode on
Yes.
purpose.
On purpose, so
we
can
can
just quit your belly aching.
No, it's one of those things that everybody does, but nobody talks about. Even more so than the actual physical act of taking a shit. Is how do you get that nasty stuff off your butthole?
You gotta wipe
afterwards. You gotta wipe it.
Without the wiping, you get the itching and the stinking.
Yeah.
No bueno.
Just no good comes of it. And people have been dealing with the issue of anal cleansing, which is what books like to refer to it as, for, well, as long as there's been people, because, you know, early Homo sapiens were physically the same as us, so they'd have the same issues if they didn't wipe, right?
I don't know. I'm not. You're asking the wrong guy.
Yeah. Well, we're lucky enough to be the only mammals on Earth that have deep buttocks, known as the gluteus maximus, and it's because of our butt cheeks that we have to manually clean ourselves whenever we take a dump.
I was just thinking, it is probably a good thing, because now that we wear clothing, that the butthole is kind of hidden, whereas if it was just like on our back, it would be like really stinky all the time. So, I mean, it's kind of like a blessing in disguise.
You mean if we had buttholes like other mammals?
Yeah, say like
Where it
we
was
had
just
like a
out
dog's butthole when it was just like on our backs.
It just
Like it
pressed right up against the clothes.
Yeah, it'd always be rubbing
I
up
see what you're
against
saying.
your clothes.
Oh,
so
hemorrhoids
you'd always
and shit?
smell like shit.
And you'd always have hemorrhoids.
Yeah.
Well,
So
I'm guessing clothing design would have taken a different route if that was the, if that was our anatomy.
Yeah. Do you think we'd always have like our buttholes exposed?
I don't know. I was picturing more of like a big, like puffy, like bubble sort of thing around, like
Bubble
like
pants?
a big diaper.
Yeah.
So you'd have this, I don't know.
I'm just
knows?
thinking of a human with a dog's butt, and that's interesting.
This is what you think about, eh?
I
This whole week when I've been reading about this stuff, that did not enter my mind once.
Well,
What would it be like if I had a dog's butthole?
Well, you're telling me a story, basically, and my mind just goes off.
I see. Okay.
I'm a creative person, Jason.
I got you. Anal cleansing is one of those things that that kind of brings us together as the human species.
Yes, the family that wipes together stays together.
Oh, okay. I was going to see. Well, you're going to try to rhyme wipes.
I
aren't
was.
you?
Yeah, wipes with gripes. A family that wipes together, gripes together.
There you go.
I don't even know what gripes fucking means.
Complain.
That's what I thought.
Yeah. It's something that we've done ever since humans have existed. But what we don't know about is exactly how it was done. Because toilet paper's only existed for, what, 120 years, maybe? Give or take?
Aren't you the guy that's supposed to know this shit?
That's the next necessity.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to do a whole episode on just toilet paper.
You're going to be sick and tired of shit.
How exciting is that? So the earliest Homo sapiens had to deal with the same issue. We were anatomically the same, basically. A human being from now and a human being from, 10,000 years ago.
Right.
We're the same for all intents and purposes,
A bit shorter, but the same.
Yeah. So they had to deal with the itchy butthole if they didn't clean properly.
Mm-hmm.
But what did they use to clean with? Because you think about it now, like there's been times, I'm sure, and you can probably attest to this, Joe, but You've gone camping.
Yep.
You forgot the toilet paper.
Never.
Never. You're
Are
one
you
of those
kidding me?
rare people that, even if it's like, oh, I forgot the toilet paper back
Okay.
in the tent.
I'm going to tell you a fucking story.
Okay.
Last year, my wife and I go down to beautiful state park in Pennsylvania called Prince Galitzin State Park.
Mm-hmm.
It's between Pittsburgh and State College, so central PA. We load up, and this is like a 5-hour drive from where we're at. We load up, we got our kayaks, load up the tent, everything. We get to the fucking park, and we forgot our kayak paddles. So, like, if I could forget the fucking paddles for the kayaks, you're damn sure I could forget some fucking toilet paper. We had to drive. We ended up driving like an extra 30 minutes to, what city? I think it was Allentown or something like that. To like a sports store. Like, do you guys have Dick's Sporting Goods?
No, I don't believe so.
No, it's like
around here.
It's like a big box sporting store.
Okay.
So we had to go there and buy kayak paddles so we could use our kayaks while we were camping.
See, now, had you been Canadian, you just would have went into the forest, cut down a fucking spruce tree,
Dug
made
out your own
yourself-
canoe.
Exactly. Made yourself your own paddles with birch bark. See,
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what you guys are doing down there.
Oh man, that was when my wife realized it right before we turned in, and I thought like she saw something die, like the gasp that she let out.
So you're saying you have forgotten toilet paper before?
I haven't, but
But it's-
definitely
yeah.
am capable of forgetting toilet paper.
Have you ever had to wipe with leaves before? I guess. is
Oh,
what those-
for sure, yeah.
Okay, all right. Well, that there you go. Like, I think everybody's experienced that at least once
Yeah.
in their life. You live long enough, you're gonna have to wipe your ass with leaves at some point. See, now it's a rarity for us. Like, and it's almost a novelty. Oh, I get to wipe my butt with some maple leaves. That's fun.
Yeah.
That kind of thing. But when you're talking about early Homo sapien, not just early Homo sapien, but like right up through until toilet paper was readily available, this was a daily thing for people.
With
I
the
mean,
leaves.
Yeah, or anything, whatever you could
Yeah.
find.
I'm going to guess that they used more than just leaves to make this episode a little more interesting.
No, it's over now. Basically, that's it.
That's
we
it.
use leaves. No, it's. I gotta think it was always on the back of their mind. You know what I mean? Like when they're out walking around doing their hunting or whatever.
Oh,
they
yeah.
might-
They'd be like,
in the
oh,
back-
that's a good leaf. I'm going to grab that so I
Yeah.
don't have to shit later.
It would have been like a daily life sort of thing, and that kind of, I don't know why, but that blows my mind. Something that we take for granted, like toilet paper.
Right.
And that novelty one or two times where you've had to wipe with a fucking squirrel or something.
I don't think anyone thinks of it as a novelty.
Well, I do.
It's an inconvenience when you have to use a fucking leaf.
Well, okay, maybe.
Except for you, mountain man Jason.
You haven't lived till you wipe your ass with a live squirrel. I don't know. Okay, fine. Maybe I'm the only one who is blown away by the fact that people had to constantly think about wiping their ass or what they were going to wipe their ass with.
I like the idea of them seeing a leaf and thinking like, oh yeah, that's a good one for when I shit later today.
Well, the problem too is that we don't know. Leaves don't stick around.
Yeah.
So we don't know exactly what they use, but we can assume that whatever was handy and whatever was convenient for the job. And you got to remember too, these people lived in nature, right? So they were a lot more familiar with their surroundings than we are today.
Right.
When it comes to what to use, what to avoid.
That just comes with trial and error, though, right?
Well, at some point in time, yeah. But
Yeah. Oh, I'd hate to be that guy.
once it's general knowledge, I think it just gets passed on.
Yeah.
From generation to generation.
Yeah, don't use that leaf, Steve. Steve used that last week, and his ass is still red.
No, like I said, we don't know for certain what people used, but we do have some so-called primitive tribes that live on Earth nowadays that we can kind of take a look at to see how they take care of the business. But the problem is, not a hell of a lot of anthropologists like to talk about that shit. So we really don't have much information about how the so-called, and I say so-called because that's the polite thing to do, I guess.
Oh, really?
Well, you know, calling people a primitive tribe nowadays seems to be an offensive way of speaking. Yeah.
Oh, it's not politically correct.
Yeah, and I can't. To tell you the truth, people, I can't keep up with all this political correct shit. I don't know. I can't do it. It's too much.
The truth is, he doesn't care.
That might be it too. But
yeah,
but I like to try to make an effort for you, our listener.
Yeah, because honestly, it's a lot easier just to be politically correct than having to deal with someone bitch at us through like an email. I mean, truthful. I'm being like totally truthful. I think I'm more politically correct. Yeah, I'm saying this, the guy who fucking has mouthed off every episode so far. But satirically, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But it's easier to be politically correct in front of an audience because it is way easier to do that than have to deal with the backlash of the audience.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Although, I don't know, I'm kind of entertained by it sometimes.
Yeah, but it gets old.
I suppose. It'd be yeah. Well, okay, I'm going to call them primitive tribes because that just makes it easier to equate them to our early ancestors when we're talking about wiping our buttholes. Because in the end, that's what we're talking about, wiping our buttholes. So we can't get too fancy about it.
Yeah. I can't believe you just called them primitive tribes. You're such an asshole.
Well, I'm about to talk about how they wipe their buttholes, so it's going to get worse. There is one anthropologist by the name of Ernest Stephan who in 1936 was studying a tribe in, I got to pronounce this name, that's why I've been kind of delaying, Nauru. The island of Nauru, I think that's right, in the Pacific. And he made the following. Does that sound right?
Yeah,
Nauru? Okay.
I think so.
He made the following observation, and I've got the quote here. You've highlighted that because you're wondering how I'm going to pronounce it, right?
Yep. Oh, you can see my highlights?
I can see your highlights, man.
Oh, nice.
We use Google Docs for our notes, so I'm going to say, quote, "The pandanus has a composite fruit, something like a giant pineapple. Each separate pandana is broken off and the end chewed while it is twisted round in the mouth to squeeze out the juice. The chewed part is sometimes used as a brush, at other times as toilet paper." End quote. And that's about as much detail as we can get out of anthropologists studying tribes throughout the world. They really enjoy. And I've seen this many times, but they really enjoy talking about the sexual habits of natives living in these types of communities. Like they go on and on and on about that, but shitting and how they clean themselves up afterwards, they tend to shy away from.
I searched pandanus in the old Google.
Mm-hmm.
You know what they call it?
What do they call it?
Screw pine.
I see.
Screw pine. So that's a little extra tidbit.
Well, there we go. I did not make any sort of effort on that. So
you could have
I'm glad you picked up the slack.
Yeah.
When we think of cleaning our buttholes, generally we think of wiping, right? We wipe that shit away.
Yep.
Sometimes you get the bidet thing going on.
Yes. I haven't tried it. Have you ever had it?
I've never tried the bidet. I imagine showering after pooping is a nice experience.
Yeah.
So
but even still, it's like you feel like you got to get in there.
Yeah. But a bidet, I think, we talked about this in the other episode about toilets, is new things take a while to catch on. And I think we'll get there someday with the bidet, but we're not quite there yet. You still get people looking at bidets in a funny way and saying, "Oh, I'd never do that." Yeah. But if they're left alone with a bidet, they're going to
they try it.
Oh, yeah.
No. They're going to try it.
Yeah.
Still like the old analog here in the West.
Yeah. Now, I've got a question for you. How would you feel about the method of scraping?
Like scraping your anus?
Yeah. Yep.
That sounds incredibly painful.
That was actually one of the more common ways throughout the world to wipe one's butt.
Scraping.
All through most of ancient history. And
Jesus Christ.
Some of it depended too on whereabouts you lived. If you're looking at the prehistoric humans and stuff like that, if somebody lived on the coast, for instance, they might use something like a clamshell.
What?
To dig in there. And that continued right up through the Middle Ages and stuff like that too. The clamshell. Or if you lived in a foresty type area, you might use the shells of a large nut to scrape everything away.
Or like bark.
Bark? Well, no, we're getting there. You're close.
Oh.
I'm sure people used bark, but what you want to watch out for there is it crumbling and shit while you're wiping. Because, that wouldn't be pleasant.
Yeah. It's like the toilet paper that rips in your hand.
Exactly. So, the method of scraping was actually really common.
That sounds incredibly painful.
Well, the people were tough back then.
It shocks me. Oh.
What you wipe with depends largely on your location back then, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
For instance, maybe you lived in Ireland where there was lots of peat and you used peat moss to wipe with, right?
I bet you that's nice.
That might be, that's nice and soft,
Yeah.
Make sure there's no bugs in it or something like that, and then...
Well, I don't know. The bugs could do a little extra work.
That's true. Or if you live in like a kind of an Arctic area, like think about the tribes and stuff like that in the northern climates where it's always, where they live in the tundras, right?
Yeah, like the permafrost.
Yeah, they might be wiping with snow.
You know what? I think that might be a little better than a bidet.
Snow?
More refreshing.
That's true.
That'll perk you up.
Now, I'm actually sitting here considering, like, how could I get away with that without anybody knowing?
Like wiping your ass with snow?
Trying snow. Well, because you'd have to go outside, get like a snowball.
Get some snow.
Yeah, and then come in and,
the fuck's this guy doing?
What you doing with the snow? Oh, nothing. And then you go into the bathroom and you lock the door. But then you got to keep the snow there while you poop, too.
Yeah.
And it's going to melt away.
I don't think it would work. To be honest, I don't think it would work very well.
No?
Just snow, yeah. Because you got to have kind of a ridge,
That's true.
The snow, well, if the snow is loose, it's got the ridge, right? But then you're just wiping snow on your ass and it fucking getting everywhere. But if you put it into a snowball, it's going to be smooth and it's not going to lift up any of the poop.
You know what? I've got a confession to make too, because I'm such a lover of history, and I want to experience history as much as I can. You know what I mean?
Right.
And while researching this episode, I had a number of times where I was like, I kind of want to try that just to see how it works.
You should do a YouTube series where you rate and review different types of.
It might have to go on like
toilet.
Pornhub or something like that, though.
Yeah, that's what you're gonna film yourself actually wiping your ass.
No, not unless somebody pays me a lot of money. Then I might.
You gotta get that Patreon started.
Yeah, but that might be an idea, for a little side series. Reviews on product reviews,
Jason wipes.
Okay, so we talked about the clamshells, right?
Yep.
Another very common method, and we have lots of archaeological evidence to back this up, is sticks.
What?
People used flat or round sticks to clean themselves up. It's true. And we know this because when archaeologists dig through ancient cesspits, where latrines would have been and stuff like that, they oftentimes find these very flat, smooth sticks that people use to clean themselves up.
So would a stick...
I kind of picture it like a...
Would they rub like the shaft up against the butthole?
No, I think it'd be the tip.
That... That's not wiping your ass. That's just
That's like
sticking
buttering
a
a piece
stick
of bread.
up your fucking ass. That's
like-
what it is. I mean,
Well, no, I don't think they'd get right up in there.
but how else are you?
I
Like,
think it was like a surface cleaning kind of thing.
I
Are you
feel-
talking about going inside the butthole?
No, I'm
Okay.
saying that's what they were doing if they were using the pointy end.
Well, no, I'm picturing. No, it wouldn't be a pointy end. I'm picturing like a squared off, kind of rounded, like a paddle. That's what I'm picturing.
Like a paddle.
Yeah,
But you're
like
still
a rounded,
using the
a rounded end. That's
Like
kind of
the-
flat.
The tip.
Yeah,
I still don't think it'd work. I think the only way that it could work is if you had the stick and you had the shaft of the stick and then you put like
wait, you're going side to side?
you're like the shaft is the bow of a violin and the strings is the butthole.
All
So
you're going to
you're-
do is give yourself splinters, then, man. Come on.
But that's the only way I can think of
That's it. I'm gonna
effectively
try it. I'm
cleaning
gonna go
your
try it right
asshole
now. I'll be
with a
right back.
fucking stick.
yeah. I'll live stream as I try this out.
I mean, the only thing I can think of if you're sticking yourself with the tip of a stick is like you're trying to flick the poop off your butt.
Well, I kind of picture it like, say you got a piece of toast, right?
Yeah.
And you put some peanut butter on there because that's more visually appropriate.
Okay.
Right? You got peanut butter on your toast, and you're like, oh shit, I put too much peanut butter on my toast. I better scrape some of this shit off. Oh, but you'd be using the side of the knife.
You would be, yeah, exactly.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I'm thinking of it as it's a small confined area, right? So you'd got to use the tip of the stick to get up in there.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Who the hell knows?
I say you fucking wipe your ass with a stick like you're washing a cloth on like a washboard.
See, yeah. See, that's the problem with the researching these topics, because they probably the archaeologists that found this shit probably know. Oh look, there's the shit stains on the stick from where they wiped their ass, but they don't want to talk about that stuff. They don't want to put that out there. So they
don't.
You know, these are our sticks that were used for anal cleansing, and that's it. That's all they say. I'm sure there's some university, you know, like a thesis out there, a doctoral thesis on shit sticks, where they go into detail on this, but I don't have access to that information.
Like some like perverted professor who like smells the sticks.
Oh, God. What?
Sticks, honestly, if you have sticks, you have fucking leaves. So just use the fucking leaf.
well, one of the we actually have written sources too that talk about these sticks that were used from one of the earliest Buddhist writings, actually from around 400 BCE, called the. Oh, why do I always have to pronounce these names? I should look it up beforehand to see how they're pronounced. Vinaya Pitakar. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to say it is. Buddhist writings
Sure.
from around 400 BCE.
I think you nailed it.
And it actually describes the method that a Buddhist monk should use when not just wiping, but going to the bathroom in general. And it contained handy advice like, it wasn't even advice, it was rules. Like you weren't allowed grunting while you pooped. That wasn't allowed. And it also made sure to note that you were not to wipe with you were not to wipe with a rough stick, and you were not to drop the stick into the cesspool when you were done with it. I guess they had these baskets that you were supposed to keep the sticks in.
Yeah,
No,
that's disgusting. So you're wiping a fucking used stick.
See, I don't know if they
Oh,
were
yeah.
used though. That's the thing. Like, was this like
Well,
a
what-
waste bin?
If you can't throw them out,
I don't know.
people.
Maybe if you threw those sticks down into the cesspit, it would block the drainage or something. Kind of like when you're not supposed to throw wet wipes down the toilet.
yeah,
You're not
or
supposed to
tampons.
flush. Yeah. So maybe the sticks were like a similar thing to that.
Yeah.
That dam up the cesspit. I don't know.
You're the guy to fetch out the fucking stick wipe the wiping stick.
Yeah. See, plumbing was a completely different occupation back then. Not like it is now.
Yes.
Along with sticks, people actually used rocks as well to wipe their butts. And
why?
The rougher, the better, too.
Well, yeah, that I understand that.
Yeah.
Because that goes back to my idea of that it has to be rough to pick up the shit.
Yeah.
It's like there's like a commercial for some kind of toilet paper. I don't know the brand, but they specifically say, we put ridges on our toilet paper because it lifts the shit off your butt.
That's what they say?
Yeah, word for word, quoting that.
Nice.
But yeah, I mean, shells, I get. Not the scraping. Fuck the scraping. If you're just wiping your ass with a shell, that makes sense because there's grooves.
Yeah, but you use it like a scoop. Get right in there.
Oh.
Wait, did
That's
you
a
just...
good... I just realized, like,
before?
I'm just thinking of, like, like, aggressively, like, ripping your anus with a fucking shell. I didn't think you'd scoop out.
Yeah.
That's not a bad idea.
There you go. It should make a comeback.
That's episode 1 of Jason Tries Historic Toilet Paper.
Yep. It's coming. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
But ancient Greeks...
Waiting for that one.
Ancient Greeks used stones largely. And I've never been to Greece, but a lot of pictures I've seen. And I'm sure there's very lush green areas of Greece, but in a lot of pictures I've seen of some areas, none of the plants you'd really want to wipe your ass with, right?
Yeah.
They all look,
prickly.
They all look prickly and sharp and jagged and shit. So stones make sense. And there's actually...
right, because a stone is a way better alternative.
Well...
I mean, a prickly bush or a fucking jagged rock.
I doubt they used jagged rocks. I'm sure they found smooth rocks.
But again, the smooth rock is not going to do shit.
You scrape it like you would with the shell.
Oh my God. These fucking people are stupid. Again, there's trees, there's leaves. Just use the fucking leaf.
Well, ancient Greeks, for some reason, I guess, liked using rocks. But there were people, I'm assuming, based on the quote that is to follow, that had the same mindset as you. Because in the 3rd century BCE, playwright Aristophanes complained that his fellow Greeks were becoming soft because, quote, we don't even wipe our bottoms with stones anymore. We are so spoilt now, always using garlic cloves.
These millennials.
Yeah, that's something that's existed. Complaining about the previous or the future generations, I guess.
Right, yeah.
Has been around for as long as man has. And you see constant examples of that. And here's Aristophanes complaining that the kids these days don't even wipe their asses with rocks like we did.
They'd rather have their asses smell like garlic.
Let's see, I don't know. I don't think I can handle that either.
Yeah, I'd rather just go itchy butt. I hate the smell of garlic.
Do you?
I do.
Yeah. My wife loves garlic.
I don't hate it, but if there's too much of it, it's just way.
Well, I'm not
like a mild.
I'm not a big garlic fan, but one thing I do when I have like a really bad head cold is I'll chew garlic cloves.
That's fucking rotten.
It's pretty disgusting.
Yeah, that sounds.
And it burns and it fucking hurts. But I'll tell you this: if your sinuses are congested, that'll clear it out. You'll feel like $1 million after the torture and torment of chewing a garlic clove is over. It doesn't last long. It only gives you about maybe 15 minutes.
Yeah,
of
because
like clear breathing, but it works. It's like Buckley's. Do you have Buckley's in the States?
No, what's that?
Tastes awful, but it works.
Is
Canadian cough syrup.
Is that the fucking catchphrase?
It is on the
tastes
commercials.
Awful,
it tastes awful, but it works. Yeah.
No shit.
Yeah.
No, we have normal shit.
Okay.
I don't know. Medicine?
All right. All right. But anyway, so there you go. Aristophanes complaining about kids not using rocks to wipe their butts. And the next thing, though, we've got the Romans, ever the innovators, the progressors of Western culture, had... Joe just highlighted the word that I'm about to try to pronounce again. Thank you for the help. I was actually practicing this one earlier.
I took the time to try to look for this one, and it sucks when no pronunciation comes up in Google. My fallback is to look it up on YouTube. Still fucking nothing.
Nothing. Well,
I have no idea.
Here, check this out. The Romans came up with a tool called the xylosphalangium. Huh?
Yep.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep, the xylophongium.
Yeah, but basically, that is a sponge on a stick.
Finally, some fucking...
Yeah, and I kind of picture, the things that you can get to wash dishes with? Like a little stick with a, Brillo pad sponge thing on the... Well, it probably wouldn't be Brillo pad-like, but a sponge on a stick. Now, the thing is, though, that these were not a one-time use tool. They were a multiple-use thing.
Well, it's kind of like a loofah.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
And if you went into a public latrine, there'd be something like a bucket in the middle that had a bunch of these in it. And the bucket was filled with salt water. So you'd give it a good, wash. And then you'd use it on your behind and then give it another good wash and leave it in the bucket for the next.
That water's got to be fucking disgusting.
I'm guessing it was probably changed on a regular basis. Well, a lot of them also had these troughs that ran through with running water. And I think they used those to clean them off before sticking them back in the salt water bucket.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah.
There's still shit on it.
So if that kind of sucked, though, if somebody had like an STD with like open sores or something like that. But the salt water in there. Ooh, it'd wake you up in the morning.
Ouch. Yeah, would you
go ahead?
Fucking, you'd spend the day fucking wiping your ass with a shell.
And then you get back home and get the nice xylosphalangium.
Yeah, the sponge on the stick treatment.
Yep.
Your butthole's going to burn because of all the salt in your cuts.
Again, I can't figure out how you're picturing these shells being used. Because
knives, that's how.
When I read that, I was like, that would work, I think. And they were...
I get the scooping, yes. Yeah, scooping.
But there's actually modern incarnations of the the Roman sponge on a stick, too, that you can buy on Amazon.
Really?
But they're not a multiple use sort of thing. And the stick is, but it has like a slot or a loop on the stick that you put toilet paper in. And
really?
It's for fat people that can't reach their butts.
I believe they're called obese.
Oh, see, the political fucking correct thing again. When somebody is like 500 pounds, they're fat, okay?
Damn.
You can call them fat.
Harsh.
They know it. They can't leave their fucking front door because they're too big.
I'm sorry, everyone. I'm so sorry.
Anyway, but there's a device for them out there to help them wipe their butts. And it all comes from the Romans.
Yeah.
There you go. So after the Romans made this nice little advancement in butt wiping technology, the early Christians came about and said that cleaning was a somewhat decadent thing. And shunning decadence. This is back when Christians actually followed the teachings of Christ.
Right.
So it's a little different now.
Ouch. Controversial statement.
Yeah, there we go.
Number 2.
Well, they were against wiping their butts because they believed it to be decadent. I don't think... Who's a big name now? Is Jerry Falwell still around?
Sure. I don't even know who that fucking guy, whoever that is.
I don't think he's going without wiping his butt.
Right.
Is basically what I'm talking about. I think the Pope probably wipes his butt. But early Christians apparently didn't, letting their buttholes just kind of take care of themselves. Now, how much truth there was, because you get that itch going on back there.
Oh my God!
But
unbearable.
But they were also into like self-flagellation and stuff like that too. So
yeah,
maybe
it's the cross they bear.
Yeah, because
fucking itchy butthole.
That's just to remind them of Christ.
He died for our itchy buttholes.
Exactly.
Yep. We're doing fine,
yeah.
Jason.
But going on to the Middle Ages, we see kind of things getting closer. Now, keep in mind that all through this time period, people are still using leaves and moss and sticks and rocks and clamshells and all that. Like that never goes away. That's always a thing that's around. But in the Middle Ages, we start seeing kind of a sort of toilet paper sort of idea coming around, where people would use cloth to wipe their behinds with. And generally it was people that were of means, right?
Right.
Because if you're like a dirt farmer somewhere and you've got cloth laying around, you're not going to be using it to wipe your shit with.
You're making sure
you're making your
freeze in the winter.
A second shirt, yeah. So you have more than one shirt that you'd have to wear all year round. But people that were well off, would you what?
I just think of the fucking peasant farmer. I could
deciding whether to wipe his butt or make a new shirt.
Yeah,
that's a problem that existed back then. But it rub. I don't know where I was going to go, but
I just thought I put in my mind some guy like putting down a pro-con list on whether or not he should fucking take this piece of cloth and make it into a shirt or fucking use it to wipe his ass.
Oh, God. Well, the thing with I think the value of cloth is sometimes overstated when you're looking at history. We're not like it's not some rare like, oh, I have this cloth and it's worth its weight in gold,
Yeah.
But it was something like, I'm trying to think of a modern equivalent. Having, I don't know, I was going to say 2 monitors instead of 1 on your computer, but I think that's pretty common nowadays.
I don't think it is.
Oh, really? I was made fun of when I said I only used 1 monitor by somebody.
Yeah, by me.
Yeah. But okay.
But that's different.
Well, you know what I'm
fucking dork.
you know what I'm driving at though. Like it's something that was attainable, but not
common.
Not common. And researchers studying latrine pits throughout Europe from the Middle Ages of monasteries were often finding strips of like rough woolen cloth. So that suggests that that's what they used to wipe their butts. Monks and stuff like that. Monks and nuns would use rough wool cloth, and that is the one that skeeved me out.
The wool?
The wool. Like, think of like a rough wool
itchy.
blanket.
Yeah.
And getting that up in there.
But I don't know. When your butt really itches.
That might be really good then.
Yeah, right? Because like, there's no
you get like
feeling than scratching that itch.
You get like that towel action going.
Right. That's that.
Roll it up and yeah, that might be actually pretty good.
That's a toe curler.
See, that's another episode of my ancient toilet paper review series now. I was against it, but you've swayed me. You've changed my mind.
Yeah.
Wool is a winner.
And wool is readily available.
Yeah. And, well, see what they would do, because a lot of this cloth that they came up with was very worn and threadbare. And it was from their clothes, the nuns, their habits, and the monks' robes and stuff like that. When they became too threadbare to wear, they would cut them up and use them for toilet paper. So, not toilet paper, to wipe their butts with, I should say.
To wipe their butts, yeah. That's smart.
Yeah. And a lot of the fancier cloths that were used, it's been suggested in some of the stuff I've read that they were not, that just like the sponge on a stick, they were not a one-use item. It was kind of like a hanky.
Yeah.
but for wiping your butt with instead of blowing your nose.
Yeah. Well,
So,
people.
so that's there's another thought. People in the Middle Ages, like say you're a rich merchant or something like that, in your pocket or the pouch that you carry around or whatever you have a rag that's specifically for wiping your ass with. So
Yeah.
it's these little things, these little details, the things that you don't think, like you put your phone in your pocket when you're out going out the door and you grab your car keys and, you have whatever you bring with you on your day to day. These little things that you barely even consider and think about.
I can't wait for hipsters to pick that one up.
The reusable rag for wiping your butt. Yeah.
Yeah, the shit rag.
We should pitch it. On,
I'm gonna start selling
Etsy.
them.
Yep. We'll call it artisanal toilet paper.
Artisanal toilet rags.
Toilet rags.
Reusable, eco-friendly toilet rags.
There you go. But I'm wondering how they clean them. If they'd ball them up so all the mess was on the inside and then wash it out later, or what? But
I don't know. It doesn't matter. They smelled like shit.
That's true. Well,
everyone fucking smelled like shit.
There's actually, on that point, there's a writer from the 12th century, and I couldn't find his name, which is unfortunate because I always like trying to give the names of these people that write this stuff. But he actually talks about exactly that when he wrote, quote, "We see some people who, although they are carefully brought up, well-versed in the sciences and knowledgeable about the world, nevertheless have a certain decided taste for shit. This liking for shit is so strong that they always carry a little bit around with them. Not in vases, of course, but a little on the tails of their shirts and on their clothes." End quote. And that's from the 1100s. So
that's good.
So yeah, that's that gives you an idea of just what people probably smelled like back then.
That's honestly, you know how they say like the sense of smell is like one of the strongest senses, and then it can invoke like a memory or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need time machines to go back. We need like smelling.
You know what?
Time machines.
Smell museums.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's a great idea.
Each gallery. Like you'd have like, you know how you have the wax dummies and stuff and like the scent.
Yeah.
But the big thing would be the smell. Because I mean they can make all sorts of shit that smells like, you know.
But every room would just end up smelling like shit. That's the thing. Like,
that's true. Yeah, I don't know if any government is going to fund that then.
That's a cool idea, though.
A smell museum? Yeah.
Yeah, because you could be like, oh, this is 9th century France.
You'd have to get every visitor would have like an air sickness bag sort of thing. Because, you know, some people out there have weak stomachs and they might not be able to. A smell museum. I don't know. Anybody out there?
That's a fucking good idea.
You can have that idea.
Yeah, you're welcome.
So, what were we talking about again?
No clue.
Butt wiping, right?
No, yes.
So it wasn't just rough wool cloth that people used either. You know, like whatever was handy. Like if you were a tailor, you might have like some linen or something like that you could use to wipe your rear end with. You know, it always depended on what was available to you and practical.
Right.
You know, the toilet paper was such a game changer, I guess, is what it comes down to. Because we don't have to think about it anymore. But if you were I'm trying to think of, if you were a sheep herder, you might have been using, sheep's wool to wipe with. Because that's what you had a lot of, and it was available to you, and could be used for that purpose.
I mean, I'm trying to think whose job would be the worst for like having to pick up like whatever was around.
That's a blacksmith.
I was gonna say blacksmith,
like a lump of coal or something like that.
Yeah,
I don't know.
You could just fucking cauterize your butthole shut.
That's probably what they did. But
I haven't shit in 14 years.
But one group of people that didn't have to depend on whatever was laying around, though, was the aristocrats.
The aristocrats.
the royalty. And I've got a few examples here of actually, some of them didn't even have to worry about wiping their own asses because they had people to do it for them. And King Henry VIII is one of the first kings of England who had an official title created called the Groom of the Stool. And this was a young noble that was assigned this title. And his job was to wipe King Henry VIII's butt after he was done taking a poop.
Poor kid.
But here's the thing, though, that as I was reading about this, it was actually a coveted role because it meant that you were with the king all the time. You were a trusted individual, And
that's just what the fucking king told you.
Oh, it's actually okay.
This is a very noble profession. Yeah. No, I'm wiping someone else's fucking ass all day. There's nothing. I don't care who you are.
Well, I doubt he's shitting all day.
It doesn't matter. Your job is to hang around until he fucking shits so you can wipe his ass.
I suppose. You're right.
There's nothing cool about that.
I mean, I don't know. You're close to the king all the time.
Yeah. That's what all the other aristocrats, ooh, you're a very lucky boy.
I'm just wondering how young these kids were. The information's probably out there, but,
yeah,
whatever. Yeah. It is what it is. And Queen Elizabeth I carried on the tradition.
Yeah, of course she did.
And she renamed she changed the title to First Lady of the Bedchamber.
Yeah, that's actually the First Lady of the Bedchamber. You know what I mean? Getting it on.
Oh, I see.
With the servants.
Oh, I see. Okay. Gotcha. Really, I think she was just wiping the Queen's ass, but
that's what they want.
If that makes it more exciting for you, then And this title, this position, either Groom of the Stool, First Lady of the Bedchamber, existed in England until 1901. So it hung around for a while. It could be that it was just honorific. Eventually,
it better have been. I mean, even as an honor, it's still a fucking diss.
But it wasn't seen as a diss, though. That's the thing. I
don't get.
You have to be a trusted individual to be assigned this title.
No, yeah, I'm super glad that you trust me enough to wipe your ass, Queen.
Really, come on.
Thank you. I'd be offended.
Would you be offended? I'd tell the Queen to go fuck herself.
We're fucking. I mean, like if I'm close enough to the Queen, I think I could speak frankly with her.
True.
To be honest,
I think the Queen was only hiring ladies though for that job.
Well, I mean, even still, it's excuse me, Queen, Your Highness, I ain't wiping your ass. That's bullshit because we've been through some shit. I'm ride or die, and you're fucking gonna say that you're just gonna give me this title that means nothing, but what it really means is that I would have to wipe your ass.
Well, there you go.
It was. We can just cut all that out.
Well, now that you've said that, I'm keeping it in.
Oh, yeah. I mean, keep it in.
Yeah, there you go.
See if I fucking care.
The French monarchy.
Every episode, I make myself sound like a fucking idiot.
Oh well.
I thought it's it's the royalty that like just get me fucking.
I was with you about halfway through that little diatribe. I was with you, and then it just went completely off the rails. I'm not sure where exactly. I think it was after Ride or Die. And then it
but that's what I'm saying. These people are trusted individuals.
Yes.
So it's like, I will protect you with my life. That's cool. But don't give me the title of fucking wipe master.
That is totally what it should have been. Wipe master.
It should have been.
The French monarchy had a similar appointment known as Le Porte-Coton. Coton?
What does that translate to in French?
The carrier of the cotton.
Really?
Yeah. Which means that they most likely use cotton to wipe.
Yeah, well, no shit.
And Japanese military dictators, in the 17th century.
Oh, we already know they had the electronic
robot toilets. No, they actually had, and this actually goes with that though, because you know how our toilets are just shitty compared to Japanese toilets.
Yeah.
Well, they had 2 people attending them when they went to the toilet, not just one. So they've always been particular about their toilet habits, and that was so. The 2 servants, one would be there to wipe when he was finished, and the other one was there to fan him while he did his business. So,
what is with the Japanese being so fancy when they shit?
They own it.
They do. They fucking own it.
Well, because I mean, in Western culture, we hide it away. We don't like. We've talked about this many times now.
Yeah,
this
you're
podcast
right.
and the last podcast. We don't like to talk. We don't like to think about it. You know, that's just something that people do that it's icky and gross, and we don't.
You're right.
That's it. You know, the Japanese, I think they just own it, and
Good for
like,
them.
how can we make our shitting experience the best that it can be? You know, because they're not afraid to talk about it. That's my assumption, anyway.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Yeah. So
I mean, you got to make yourself as comfortable as possible.
Yeah,
because they understand that no one really, likes to do it. But
well, I don't know about that.
Well, I mean, it's not like
I know.
It's
if you had a choice. If you had a choice,
yeah.
I don't know. Maybe we'll catch up to them someday.
I don't know.
It's but there is a major toilet gap.
There is
in our world.
Investigate the toilet gap between the Japanese and the rest of the world.
Yeah, but anyway, kudos to the Japanese, for taking that on and making it the best it can be. All the way back in the 17th century.
Keep being you, Japan.
Yep. There you go. So the whole idea of having people wipe your butt, that was kind of reserved for the royalty, but the general aristocrat still liked to be fancy when they had to clean their buttholes. And they would generally use things like velvet or satin. Or, nice.
Just wasting time. It's not going to work.
You don't think so?
No, again, it's smooth.
It's smooth. That's true. That's true.
It's
well, what I was building up to, though, is in the 17th and 18th century France, while, everybody was starving and dying and stuff like that, while, like, the French aristocrats were obscenely crazy wealthy.
Yeah.
And,
like America.
Then the French Revolution. You said it, not me.
What? I'm not American. I'm an American. I can speak freely.
I know.
Of my own country.
Hey, I don't want any crazy foreign leaders that are nuts and insane.
We can't. We got to stop
Orange
this.
Being like, I know we got to stop it. Invading my country because,
Every episode.
How can we avoid it? Honestly, how can we avoid it?
Every episode before we start recording, I say to myself, you're not going to say anything stupid and you're not going to bring up any current event. But every time something happens.
I don't think we can avoid it. I mean, and full disclosure, we record these a bit in advance. So we might even be gone by the time this is on iTunes. Like who knows?
Fucking funny.
But and I think because of that, we have to keep this in here because it's a crazy, fucked up, screwed up time we're living in. And let's pull back the hyperbole a little bit. All right.
And it's still fucking bizarro world.
It is. I don't know. It's hard to avoid. I'm probably going to cut all this out. But
nope.
It's just
you don't. You said it. In? You said it. I guess that's the role.
Oh God. Anyway, so the French aristocracy, insanely wealthy, all their people are dying, and a popular debate in the salons that they hung out in was what was better to wipe one's ass with, velvet or satin. And it's stuff like that I think really encouraged things like the French Revolution.
And the answer to that question is fucking neither.
I don't know. Velvet might be okay.
It's soft.
But if it's absorbent.
It's comfortable, right?
Yeah.
velvet is what you need, something coarse to get the workload done, and then
Maybe I've
follow up.
Maybe I've never experienced velvet or satin before, but isn't velvet like, I think of those crushed velvet paintings that were all the rage in like the 70s.
You know
and
what?
80s.
Velvet might work.
Yeah, because isn't it kind of, it has a pile to it.
Yeah. Fucking velvet might be it.
So there you go.
Shit. Because it's soft.
This is probably what people were saying back in these salons back in
It's certainly not satin.
France. Satin's just going to smear it all over the place.
Satin's,
I'm with you there. But velvet might work. Again, there's the next episode of my ass wiping review.
I might try that one.
Velvet?
Yeah.
I think velvet's still pretty expensive, so
You know,
it might be a one-time thing. But anyway,
wool, I think, would work the best
yeah.
if you're going to use some kind of fabric.
Yeah. Again, I've said it several times already, but ordinary people just using whatever they had at hand right up through to the days of toilet paper. And jumping across the ocean to America, one of the most popular items to use in rural areas was the corn cob. And this is actually something that's pretty close to our time. I mean, people use corn cobs right up into the 20th century in some rural places.
The corn cob would work.
Yeah, see, that's what you've been looking for all this time. Is something like the corn cob.
You need the grooves.
Yeah, and I've seen pictures of outhouses that had either like pouches that hung on the door or other containers and stuff that would have corn cobs in them.
And they're fucking biodegradable.
Yeah, one use, biodegradable. You toss it down there.
And, oh my God, corn cob might be the number one thing to use. You can make a fucking lot of it.
Yeah.
It's biodegradable.
Yeah.
It's got the grooves.
Yeah.
There's no other reason to use anything else. I mean, up until toilet paper comes around.
You know, it might even be better than toilet paper.
I
had that thought.
I don't know.
You don't know? Is that going too far?
I don't know. I'm going to have to try it.
And one thing I wanted to know, and I couldn't find an answer, is that where the term cornhole comes from?
Oh.
Yeah, see?
Probably. Huh.
You clean the cornhole with the corn cob. So.
And not like cooked corn or like corn that you eat, like wild corn. That shit is hard.
Yeah.
You know? Just think of like a corn kernel.
Well, no, but here's what I'm thinking. Is it after like, say you cook a big feast of corn on the cob.
Yeah.
Right? And you eat it all up.
Yeah.
And then the corn cobs go to the outhouse?
See, that's what I was thinking, but I was thinking just the whole corn cob, like wild corn.
But see, now that gets in the territory of being too slick again.
Yeah, but it's got the grooves, though.
Yeah, but once it dries out, I don't know. When I picture, not that I sit at home late at night picturing people wiping their butts with corn cobs, but when I picture its use, I picture it
like
without any kernels on it. Yeah. And actually, I think one picture that I did see of the corn cobs, they didn't have any kernels on the corn cobs.
So they were used.
Yeah. So it's like reuse, recycle. Sort
of
thing.
There'd be more grooves.
Yeah.
That way, because there's like the indentation.
And sort of, indentation.
For where the seeds were.
Scoopy sort of grooves.
Yeah. So. Better. It'd be better without the seeds.
Yeah. So, so corn cobs is the big one in the U.S. And
it's the American spirit.
Yep. When toilet paper came out, that took over the scene. And believe it or not, we're going to do a very exciting, nail-biting episode on toilet paper in the future.
Yes. When you thought we couldn't squeeze another episode out of this topic, guess again.
This was originally all going to be one, the toilets, toilet paper, and pre-toilet paper. But when we saw what was out there, we said, nope, we're going to go on for 3 fucking hours.
3 episodes.
But that's it.
Yeah.
We're done with this one.
Okay.
Good. Yeah. So where can people find us?
You can find us at Not Safe for Work History Podcast.com. That's NSFW History Podcast. You can search for us on Facebook, Not Safe for Work History Podcast. You can follow us on Twitter at Not Safe for Work History. And you can subscribe, you can rate and subscribe to us on iTunes and on Google Play.
I didn't interrupt that time.
Yeah, you're damn right. Because you knew what I was doing.
Yes. Anyway, so there we go.
Yeah, that was it.
And
that was a good one.
Bye.
Wait, you don't have any out?
I don't have any outro music this time.
Oh my god.
I didn't have anything lined up, but I have an idea. I have something.
Well, this is awkward.
No, I have something to include at the end of the episode.
One of your videos?
No. No. I'm gonna keep it quiet right now. The listeners are gonna hear it right now.
Ooh.
Right now.
Stay tuned.
Starting now.
All right.
Bye.
Thanks for listening.
What did they do for toilet paper in the Civil War? I wonder what toilet paper was like in the 1860s. Did they carry it in rolls in their duffel bags?
What do you think when you comes down to toilet paper?
What?
That's always the first question with you. Why is that always your focus?
All right, then what did they do?
I don't know. Maybe they gave out big loose clumps to all the soldiers.
Well, I think it would be nice if there was some sort of historical record of it.
Maybe they should have a toilet paper museum. Would you like that? So we could see all the toilet paper advancements down through the ages. Toilet paper during the Crusades, the development of the perforation, the first six-pack.